The risen Savior this Easter Sunday. All are welcome to take part in a free breakfast Sunday morning from 8:30 to 9:30, followed by the Easter worship service at 10. If you don't have a church family, Life Church of Fergus Falls warmly welcomes you into theirs. Share in the joy of the resurrection message at Life Church, a blessed Easter from Life Church on Highway 210 West Fergus Falls, just past Walmart.
It's Morning Talk on News Talk 1250 KBRF, brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. Now, here's Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop.
Too many buttons this morning, Mary. Too many buttons. Good Tuesday morning. 9 after 10.
Right, that. So I get it. A Tuesday feels like a Monday.
A Tuesday very much feels like a Monday today.
Yeah, my headphones are kind of coming and going, and so anyway, yeah, it's a Monday on a Tuesday, I guess.
Yep.
But we made it through Monday.
We did.
Yeah, my coffee couldn't be strong enough this morning for some reason.
I need more coffee. I definitely need more coffee. I've gone through a Red Bull. I'm looking for more coffee.
Oh boy, yeah. So you do both of those in the morning?
Every once in a while. I might have a Red Bull once a week.
Okay.
If that, maybe once every other week.
I don't think I've ever had one. They're too sweet for me, I think. That's what
they are Swedish.
That's what I hear.
They've got a weird taste, and it's the weirdness that I like.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I don't love anything that's super sweet. So
it's not like super sweet. It's not like Mountain Dew sweet. Mountain Dew for me is just too sweet.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had a soda in like 20 years. So
well, of course, because you're calling a pop soda.
Okay, sorry. I have friends who I think gave me such a hard time about saying pop. It feels funny anymore.
I'd go at them if they called it soda.
Okay. Really? Okay, so it should be pop.
Pop. It's pop.
It feels funny. Well, I don't drink either one, so I don't know when I made the shift, but soda makes more sense to me. Or it's kind of like going from supper to dinner. I can't do supper.
Can't do
supper is bad leftovers in my mind.
Supper is the evening meal. Dinner is evening meal. Lunch is lunch.
Yeah, I'm breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Yeah, I'm breakfast,
lunch. We don't ever go out for supper, or it's time for supper.
No,
what do you want for dinner? We always say.
For me, it's interchangeable.
Is it?
It makes no difference.
Yeah, I don't know. I made the shift there for some reason too, and now supper feels funny.
Yeah.
I grew up when I was growing up, I think we had breakfast, dinner, and supper. Dinner was lunch, if I remember right. But who knows?
Some people call dinner lunch or lunch dinner. For me, it's breakfast, it's lunch, and it's a dinner and supper, whatever you want to call it.
Whatever you want to call it. Okay, interchangeable for sure. Well, Minnesota got put on the map last night as Paige Beckers, who is a Minnesota girl from Hopkins originally, played for University of Connecticut, UConn for all these years, and she's been a standout, and she was drafted into the WNBA number 1. I think she went to Dallas, is that right?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Not positive.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, I don't always follow the WNBA, but, it was fun to watch Caitlin Clark go in and now Paige Beckers. And those two players worked so hard during their whole lives, but especially in their college experience, I think. And anyway, it was fun to see that. And her coach, of course, was there. And anyway, it was kind of an exciting moment. And we never did talk about, I know you're not a big golf guy. You like to play golf. You don't like to watch it.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoy playing golf.
Yeah, you don't like to watch it on TV. But I always say that we watch the last few holes of the final round on Sundays, and the Masters was this last weekend.
I heard it was intense.
Oh, my goodness. That is the kind of finish that you want to watch on a Sunday of one of the majors. And boy, Rory McIlroy certainly made it interesting. He would have won with a very short putt on 18, and he just barely missed it, which sent them to a playoff hole. And at the Masters, it's sudden death, so you play one hole at a time. I think they went back to 18, and he had two beautiful shots just again, and was able to, with a very short putt again at the end. It felt like he relived the 18th hole, but he sunk that last one, and he just fell to his knees. So he
fell to his knees, ruining the green.
Yeah. So he gets the green jacket, and if you like to watch golf, you loved that ending. I mean, that's what those great tournaments are made of. So anyway, I thought it was kind of cool. And those are my two sports notes. I don't have any more than that, but sometimes it's kind of fun to talk about something other than all the goofiness that's going on in politics.
Yes.
Because it just seems like there's more craziness all the time and people behaving badly, and nobody can get along. But not only that, if you don't get along, so many people are resorting to violence.
You can't. If you can't get along, at least be civil.
You can't just disagree anymore.
Yeah.
And so you just never know what's going to happen. And I feel like we keep hearing more and more of these kinds of stories in smaller cities and towns that are getting kind of close to us.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the whole world just feels like it's gone crazy. Thankfully, here it is Holy Week, and maybe we can, get
a little love out there.
Yeah, and focus on that this week, of course. It's been interesting. I have a friend who has been sending me something about, something for each day of Holy Week, and how it applies to the Bible and what happened that week in the Bible. It's been really interesting. I've enjoyed reading that every day. So anyway, maybe that's what we focus on. And so, of course, we'll have Maundy, Thursday. There will be services across our community and around our area. Good Friday services, and then, of course, Easter Sunday. So lots going on in the upcoming week.
Yes.
And on another note with regard to Easter, not to the sacred note, but something that kids like to do at Easter time, and that is Easter egg hunts. I saw an interesting piece yesterday how parents are buying now marshmallows. I don't know what brand it is, probably Jet Puff or whatever the brand is. They came out with Easter egg dyeing kits.
Oh, nice.
And it's those big giant marshmallows. And then they've got the tongs and the dye and decorating stuff, everything in the packet. And you actually dye Easter marshmallows and decorate them because eggs are so expensive.
Yes.
And so if you want something to do and you didn't really feel like buying those eggs, and if you hide a marshmallow and somebody doesn't find it, it's not going to smell. It's not going to, it'll just get hard.
I remember when I was a kid, that little rickety wire frame that came with it.
That's supposed to hold the egg.
And you sit there and you just kind of go from cup to cup, and you ended up staining all the cups. And it's just,
it was always fun, though. Yeah.
The other one I remember, they came out, I think, in the 80s, and it was probably like 1 or 2 years where you had this kind of like a shrink wrap. So you slid your egg in there and you dropped that in boiling water, and then it shrunk on your egg.
Yep. That was kind of cheating.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there were kits where you had special markers to just draw on the eggs.
That was after my time.
Yeah. I'm thinking kids and probably grandkids by the time that came out. But yeah, lots of different ways. But now instead of the egg, I guess it's going to be the marshmallow. So
we stopped dyeing the eggs a while back. For the egg hunt, we use those little plastic eggs.
Yeah, we do.
And then we can put stuff in them like little candy, little money.
A former colleague of ours, Ellie, she turned me on to a really good idea, and she took one of those cake decorating bags.
Yep.
And filled it with cheese balls and tied it with a green ribbon so it looked like a carrot.
Yep.
And so what I did is we made a bunch of those, and I put monetary values on them. $2, $1, 50 cents, $5, whatever it was. And we hid those, and then the kids had to go search for the carrots, and they ate the cheese balls, and they got
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah. it was kind of fun. And I think the minimum order for those cake decorating bags was like 250 or something.
So
So
you've got some left.
I have some left. I could do that again and again and again and again. But it really turned out cute. In fact, I should try to put one together now that we've got a visual part of the show. And they really turned out cute, and they're kind of fun to make.
Yeah.
And the kids liked them. They loved the cheese balls. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll get that done again. My grandkids are getting a little bit old for hunting, but my mom
Never too early or never too old for cheese balls.
Old, yeah, and never too old really for a good old fashioned Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
My mom and dad did it for us long after we were married and had our own kids. We always went out to their house and went out in the woods and hunted for Easter eggs, and we just never really got tired of that. So maybe you're never too old to go on an Easter egg hunt or to provide one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we've got this big row going over some guy who was evidently mistakenly deported to a prison in El Salvador. Now they're saying that that was an error and that he should never have been deported. Well, he's still sitting in El Salvador in that prison, and we've all seen pictures from that prison. Doesn't look like a very kind place. Anyway, his name is Kilmar Abrego Garcia, and they are trying to bring him back. But El Salvador's president, who met with President Trump yesterday, said, nope, we're not returning him. He called it preposterous and citing legal constraints. The U.S. Attorney General mentioned that El Salvador has the final say on the matter, since this man is from El Salvador.
Yeah, he's an El Salvador citizen.
In their prison.
Yeah, and he was in our country illegally.
Right. So they maintain that he was part of the MS-13 gang.
Yeah.
He, of course, denies that. I don't know what the truth is really there. But anyway, the Supreme Court actually previously mandated his return to the U.S.
Oh, wow.
But El Salvador said, nope. The president said, we're not going to do that. So he remains in prison. Don't know where that's going to go.
Yeah, he is an El Salvador citizen, and he's now back in El Salvador.
And there was a young woman, too, and I don't know if she was arrested on a college campus or what her deal was. But she had been deported, and now they're trying to decide what to do with her because now they're crying that, that was not legal, and I don't know. We'll see what happens there, but a lot up in the air each and every day, that's for sure. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg defended the company on the first day of an antitrust trial. He was facing allegations of monopolizing the social media market. The trial may lead to Meta divesting from Instagram and WhatsApp. Those are 3 platforms that are all owned by the same guy. The prosecution pointed to internal communications demonstrating evidence of anti-competitive behavior. I don't know what that means necessarily, but trying to kind of break up that, what they're calling a monopoly, which kind of seems like it is. Anyway, Harvard University, they have resisted Trump's and his administration's demands to end diversity programs, adopt merit-based admissions, and comply with immigration authorities. The standoff jeopardizes $9 billion in federal funding. Harvard is the first major university to defy such threats, arguing the demands infringe on the school's rights. They're saying, hey, we're a private school. We don't need the government to run what we're doing.
Then they don't need the government's money.
Right. And, and I wonder, of course, $9 billion, that's a lot of money. I know that they have a lot of people who are supporting that school, alumni and
a lot of endowments and trusts.
A lot of trusts and endowments. But to all of a sudden wipe away $9 billion, that's a bit of a cut.
And is it like a truly $9 billion, or are they just saying that? Because
I don't know. Federal funding, I don't know where that all goes, and maybe it goes to a place that they can afford to let it go. But $9 billion, that's a big number.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're digging their heels in, and we'll see how that goes. So many of the things that President Trump has put into place that people haven't loved, people right away say, nope, or we're going to retaliate. We're going to do this to you if you're going to do this to us. And then within a day or two, then they start backing down and saying, well, maybe we ought to come to the table, might talk a little bit more about this. So maybe this will be one of those.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. And Harvard, not the only one that is getting some of this money taken away. But so what do you think? It's a private college. Do they have the ability to teach what they want to teach, allow who they want to allow on their campus? Is that their right?
It is their right, but when it comes down to it, it also doesn't mean that they get our money.
Right. So you cut the $9 billion out, and then they can just go and do what they want.
Yep.
We'll see if that happens.
We'll see.
There's a few bigger schools, colleges, private schools usually, that are on the chopping block just as Harvard is, and haven't heard anything back from either of those. So we'll see. The man who set fire to Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence admitted to harboring hatred for the governor. This guy seems like off the rails crazy. Cody Balmer faces charges including attempted murder, aggravated arson, and terrorism. He turned himself in and is receiving medical treatment. The incident resulted in significant damage to the residence. I mean, the whole lower floor is kind of hatched. They said that there was a set of doors between the ballroom and the rest of the house. And they think that because those doors were closed, it saved a lot of the rest of the house. Anyway, mental health issues, of course, may have played a role here. This guy swears that he doesn't have any, but sure seems to me that there might be some mental health issues going on there.
If he says he doesn't have any mental health issues, let's make sure he doesn't see freedom again.
Yeah, that's right. And one more final story here. Hungary's parliament passed a constitutional amendment enabling the governor and the government, rather, to ban LGBTQ events. And that's happening in Hungary. So we'll see how that one goes. All right. We've got lots more for you. Sheryl Crow and Leanne Rimes are joining The Voice if you care about that show. We've got lots of stuff to tell you about when we come back on Morning Talk.
Back with more Morning Talk with Mary Dolan and Dave Bishop. Brought to you by Pioneer Care and Fergus Falls Monument Company. After the markets on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Depend on it.
Did you know you can have high cholesterol without any symptoms? High LDL or bad cholesterol can have a big impact on your cardiovascular health, increasing your risk of a heart attack or stroke. Reduce your risk by knowing your LDL cholesterol level and working with your doctor on a treatment plan. Lowering your LDL cholesterol today can help you enjoy a healthier tomorrow. Visit the American Heart Association at heart.org/LDL to learn why lower is better.
Keeping you company out on the lakes, the Minnesota Twins, and News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
Hey, it's Chris Atterbury. Join me alongside Glenn Perkins tonight as the Twins take on the Mets in Game 2 of a 3-game series. Bailey Oberst starts for the Twins. Our pregame's at 6 o'clock. First pitch, 6:40, right here on your home for Twins baseball.
News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
Hey there, local farmers. Tired of the hassle of processing and butchering your livestock? They've got you covered at Lake Cabin Meat and Deli Company, your trusted partner in meat processing. From custom cuts to expert butchering, they handle it all with care and precision. Whether it's beef, pork, or lamb, they deliver a quality you can count on. Serving Fergus Falls and the Lakes area, they're proud to support local farmers just like you. Call them today at Lake Cabin Meat and Deli Company, where quality meets tradition.
What if a lender returned a portion of their earnings back to its customers? Well, that's exactly what Ag Country Farm Credit Services does. Ag Country shares its success with eligible member owners who can receive a cashback dividend through their patronage program. That's the power of the co-op. Learn how you can get started by contacting your local Ag Country office today. Ag Country, focused on ag, focused on you. Ag Country is an equal opportunity lender and provider.
Markets this hour brought to you by Ag Country Farm Credit Services, a customer-owned cooperative.
Good morning. Market update on the Red River Farm Network. I'm Randy Conan. Grain markets continue to trade mostly softer here. The exception is from December on out in the corn market. That's on the plus side, the new crop months, trading a little bit firmer here. Wheat and soybeans trading softer. Lowen and Associates market advisor Tyson Lowen says the grains just continue to find a bit of selling pressure here.
Just what we saw in the overnight session with most of the grains under pressure here, aside from corn. That finished the overnight session just slightly higher here, but now we do have the two nearby contracts that are fading a little bit, potentially joining the rest in the red. Although again today here we do see the deeper deferred contracts or the new crop contracts actually performing better than the front end, which is kind of a flip from what we were seeing last week.
And the livestock markets mostly firmer here this morning so far.
So far we are here today, which is good to see, just kind of continuing to climb off those recent lows that we found last week and just continuing to stair-step our way up out of that.
The cash cattle trade, pretty quiet to get started here this morning. Bids and asking prices not yet established. Cutouts are expected to be higher on light to moderate box movement. Dow Jones Industrial Average is currently trading 37 points higher. That's at 40,562. Crude oil down 11 cents a barrel at $61.42. The gold is up $11.70 an ounce. You're listening to the Red River Farm Network.
When it's time to choose a residual herbicide for your soybeans, you need broad-spectrum weed control that lasts. Zidua Pro and Zidua SC herbicides by BASF give your crop up to 2 more weeks of residual weed control, providing 50% more control than other Group 15 residuals. The long-lasting herbicide portfolio protects your soybeans from even the toughest weeds while providing a steady growing environment for the entire season. Talk to your retailer today about adding Zidua Pro and Zidua SC herbicides to your 2025 plan. Always read and follow label directions.
I'm 70 years old and I've been farming my entire life, but I'm getting tired and my body ain't quite keeping up like it used to. I found myself getting angry and finally realized I'm going through a grieving process of letting go of the management of the farm and the things I used to be able to do. I'm now working on accepting and enjoying watching the next generation carry on the family legacy.
You add the value to North Dakota agriculture. This effort is associated with North Dakota State Suicide Prevention Program.
The Red River Farm Network is reporting agriculture's business with the markets, farm news, and weather information you need each and every day.
Again, hats off to you, Don, and the Red River, what you guys do, connecting your listeners to what's happening and people and telling stories. You guys are doing an awesome job at it, so thank you.
That's Greg Peterson, better known as Machine Repeat. The Red River Farm Network can be heard from Worthington to War Road, from Bismarck to Bemidji, 23 radio stations, and online at rrfm.com. Imagine this. You gather a stadium full of farmers, step up to the podium, and tell them about your business. What would that be worth to you and your company? This is Don Wick from the Red River Farm Network. We fill that stadium every day with some of the most progressive-minded, forward-thinking farmers and ranchers around the world. Find out how the Red River Farm Network can carry your message to farmers and ranchers. We're the Red River Farm Network, and we're reporting agriculture's business.
May wheat Minneapolis down 3 cents, 601 3/4. Chicago May wheat's down 5 1/2. Kansas City May wheat down 5 1/4. May corn down 3 cents at 482. December the new crop corn up 2 cents at 464 1/4. May soybeans down 7 3/4, 1034. November soybeans are down 3 3/4 at 1024 3/4. In Winnipeg, May canola is up $1.40 a metric ton now, $6.63 even Canadian. June live cattle up 42 cents, $199.50. August is up 72 cents. May feeder cattle 92 cents higher at $281.85. August up $1.32. May lean hogs are 70 cents higher at $88.65, and June up 67 cents. This is the Red River Farm Network.
Age is more than just a number, it's a journey worth celebrating. Join News Talk 1250 KBRF for Celebrate Aging, presented by Pioneer Care on Wednesday, July 9th at the Bigwood Event Center in Fergus Falls. Discover resources, enjoy live entertainment, and connect with experts on healthy, happy aging. Whether you're attending or showcasing your services, this event is for you. Want to reserve a booth? Visit LaytonEvents.com today. Let's embrace the beauty of growing older together. See you on July 9th at the Bigwood Event Center.
Excellent deals are waiting at Victor Lundine's. Now through Friday, pick a mystery egg at checkout and save 10 to 40% off on gifts, books, decor, and more. Don't miss the fun. Victor Lundine Company in historic downtown Fergus Falls.
My name is Pastor Lauren Mellum, Senior Pastor at Bethlehem Lutheran Church. Join us at Bethlehem Lutheran Church in downtown Fergus Falls as we walk the sacred path of Holy Week together. Experience the depth of Maundy, Thursday, and Good Friday services. Come celebrate the joy of the resurrection on Easter Sunday with festive services at 8:30 and 10:30 a.m. This Easter, come home to your faith at Bethlehem, 102 West Junius Avenue.
Retro Tropical Craft Beer Tour? Yes, please. The Fergus Falls Craft Beer Tour, presented by Builders First Source, is hitting up the Bigwood Event Center on Friday, May 2nd from 5 to 9. Rock those neon windbreakers, soak up the vibes, sip unlimited craft beverages, and have some fun in the indoor sun, all in support of the Fergus Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. Thanks to our sponsors, Premier Meats and Seafood, Leaf Filter, Splash Car Wash Express, Culligan, Cooper's Office Supply, and Outstate Brewing. Save $10 on tickets at Fergus Falls Liquor.
Vets R Us Incorporated is putting on a bingo fundraiser coming up April 19th. Funds raised cover the costs of providing free fishing and hunting trips to veterans and active duty military. There will be a meatball dinner served starting at 4 for just $10. Bingo starts at 6. And for information, you can call Val at 701-500-4800 or check out vetsrus.org. The bingo fundraiser April 19th at the Eagle Ship in Fergus Falls.
News Talk 1250 KBRF. Listen anytime, any place with the Fergus Now app on your phone. Forecast for today, warming up to 51. 34 for tonight's low, we had 62, windy for tomorrow. A little bit of rain possible for Monday, Thursdays. We had 63 for Thursday's high, 37 by Thursday night's low. Highs hitting 50 and breezy for Good Friday. Saturday up around 54, and then Easter Sunday, 59. Winds on the southeast at about 15, gusting 24, so you might need to hold on to the Easter bonnet as things get a little windy on Sunday morning. Now, Mary, do you remember using those Easter bonnets, those big ones?
I'm sure I did, yeah. And gloves. My mom always had me wear gloves.
You gotta look nice.
So this, fluffy dress, white gloves, and an Easter bonnet.
Yep.
I remember traveling as a kid, and I know I've told this story before, and there's a picture. I wish I could put my hands on it. I'd have to go through a bunch of photo albums to find it. But it's of us sitting at a gate at the airport, and I'm probably 7 or 8. And I am wearing a dress, and I have a coat to match my dress. Gloves, white gloves on my hands, like shiny white patent shoes. We used to get really dolled up to go on an airplane.
It used to be an event.
Yeah, I know. Now, I woke up for the last flight. I brushed my teeth, and that's it. We had slept in our clothes from the night before because we were so tired. By the time we finally got to that hotel, we just thought, let's just lay down for a few hours. We got to get up, and we'll just go in this. And yeah, so that as compared to white gloves and patent leather shoes, and a matching coat, no less.
Yeah.
We used to really get dolled up. And it was me sitting on my suitcase looking like, I hate this dress, I hate these shoes, I hate these gloves.
I remember taking Northwest Airlines and we used to get a little tray full of food.
Yep.
I think I snatched one of the trays one year.
Did you?
And I was
And
cleaning
you
my-
had real silverware.
Yep.
And then you got that pair of wings.
Yep.
Junior pilot
Junior
or
pilot
junior
wings.
stewardess. Yep.
Yep.
I probably have some of those, or my mom in her things probably has some of those somewhere. But yeah, we used to fly Northwestern Airlines all the time.
Yep.
And that's in the days when you could, I don't know about you, but when I was flying in my early days on Northwestern Airlines, there was actually a smoking section.
I think there was a smoking section when I went.
Yeah.
I mean, we flew a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I just remember, we always booked the non-smoking section like it
that
mattered. Oh my goodness. It's hard to believe that ever happened, for sure. Hey, one thing we didn't talk about today is tax day.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I pushed it right till not the very end. I had another 24 hours. But I signed my tax return about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. So nothing like leaving it till the last minute.
I put my Minnesota taxes in the mail at probably about 2 o'clock yesterday.
Okay. All right. Well, I held a little longer than you, but as far as it turned out better than I thought it was going to this year. So
ours turned out worse.
I know. I hate tax time.
I hate it.
I
really
would
do.
almost rather go to the dentist, and those are my two most hated things. And I think tax stuff I dislike more than the dentist.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's saying something, I think. Okay, do you think that the word frugal is better than cheap? Would you rather be...
I'd rather be called frugal than cheap.
Okay, me too. Well, anyway, about more than half of the people, Americans, are saying that they think there is far less stigma around being frugal or cheap, whatever you call it, than there was 5 or 10 years ago. I would agree.
Oh yeah, if you're frugal, you're saving money.
Right, and I
getting
think
things paid off.
yeah,
you're not
and
buying
I think
anything stupid.
people are sharing ways to be frugal. They're sharing good deals on things that they find in our stores, and they're saying that a lot of people are just not using. We don't call people cheap anymore. We call them frugal. And frugal has kind of a connotation of being smart.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
You're saving money and you're being smart and you're taking a look at where you can cut some corners. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being
frugal.
frugal. No, in fact, I think more people are proud of being frugal than scared of being cheap.
Yeah.
Now, cheap is different.
Cheap is derogatory. That's like,
Cheap is always trying to get out of being the guy who pays.
but being the only guy that pays, buying the cheapest version of it, even if it's like going to break in 2 days.
Right, exactly. However, we're finding, this is with regard to food, that a lot of people are trying more generic brands or store brands over the names that we know and love on the store shelves because they're quite a bit cheaper. And here's the problem for those big name companies. People are finding that some of these generics and store brands are just as good or better than the Crafts and all the big names.
Well, I know we've had this conversation back when Bud Light went through their disaster marketing campaign and they started dropping and losing share of the market. And that's like, everybody's going out there and checking out all the other beers and going, you know what? Bud Light is not a good beer. So maybe I need to have something with some actual flavor.
Well,
I mean,
maybe.
it's just colored water.
I guess. When I think of that, there was someone, and I read the story and now I don't know where it is. But anyway, someone within the government was making a speech and referred to AI as A1.
Oh.
And they just went after her on social media. And then, people were posting bottles, Heinz bottles, steak sauce bottles, and every kid needs a good start with A1. And anyway, she took a lot of heat for it.
Maybe have A1 steak sauce. Do your
and wait till
paper.
you hear who it was. This is very embarrassing. It should be for her. Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon.
Oh, that's why they're getting rid of this department.
Yeah, mistakenly referred to AI as A1. Really, honestly?
Oh.
Well, she took a lot of heat, and they are making
rightfully
super fun of her. Do you know what? I remember something that Craig Olson said on the air one time, and all of us just about split. And Craig Olson rarely makes any guffaws, or any mistakes. But he was actually sitting where you're sitting. He was doing it in those days. He had an air shift.
Yep.
And he was sitting in there. And in those days, we didn't have all this network stuff that we could rely on. So a lot of times when it came to ag markets and that sort of thing, we read it ourselves.
Yep, I remember doing that.
Yep. And anyway, I will never forget this. I was sitting on this side of the window. Craig was where you are in the main studio, and he was reading some egg market, and he said, "Russia is buying us corn." And what he meant to say was U.S. corn.
He's buying us corn.
Anyway, everybody had a good time over that, and one of the few slip-ups by Craig.
One of my favorite slip-ups was by our longtime news guy, Brian Locken. I remember I was sitting in here doing an air shift, and he was doing the news live, and I don't know where his mind was at the time, but all of a sudden he goes, "From the Lakes Radio nude room," and I'm like,
"Oops!"
I snapped my head towards him, and he's just like, he knew he said something,
but he didn't know what, probably.
and then I, hit the ads, and I just kind of look over at him, and he comes in and goes, "What did I say?" I'm like, "Really? You knew you said something?" He goes, "Judging by that reaction, yeah." Because this is before we had all the monitors and stuff. So, I mean, Derek really has to look in here because he's got to get past the monitors. And I go, "So from the Lakes Radio nude room, huh?"
Oh, boy.
Brian, there's a window. I need you to keep your clothes on.
I remember it was one of our overnighters, and she was relatively new, and she was reading a newscast, and it was about something in Poland or something. Anyway, they were declaring martial law, and when she read the story, she read it as marital law instead of martial law. And I remember this. I shouldn't even say this because he'll get some grief. But one time, Bud Nornis referred to it as a tortilla shell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Instead of tortilla. So we've all done those kinds of things. I'll tell you one of my biggest mistakes and guffaws, totally embarrassing, and I'm here to just out it today. I was doing an air shift, and I was thinking, well, I should probably, the TV was on, and there was a Twins game. And I thought, well, I should probably give an update on the game. So here I am giving updates.
On a replay?
Inning to inning, and it was a replay of the previous day's game. So Craig finally called and said, "Mayor, that's yesterday's game. Everyone knows how that one turned out." Anyway, Twins weren't even playing the day I was giving all the updates. So we've all made our guffaws on the air. That is for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, yeah. So if you let the calendar get away from you, today is tax day, and you have until midnight tonight, or you have to file for an extension, which, by the way, is not free.
No.
You have to pay to do that.
Yep.
It costs you money to file for an extension.
I had to laugh when Jen and I first started dating. There's a significant event that happens here today in Major League Baseball. It's Jackie Robinson Day, so everybody wears the number 42. And Jen, being as loving and innocent as she was like, "Wow, they're all wearing 42." And I go, "Yeah, it's a protest." What? She goes, "Yeah, it's tax day, so they're all protesting that they have to, pay 42% in taxes. So it's kind of a protest."
Oh my
She's like,
goodness!
"Really?" And then like 2 innings later, they explain it. She just glares at me, and I'm like,
"See,
it's Jackie Robinson Day."
I'm Jen. I would so buy into something like that. And then I'd get all mad and say, "Oh, why are they doing that?" And we all do stuff like that. When you talk about a kind of a practical joke like that, my mom and dad, when they were on their honeymoon, they were on the Queen Mary, and they went to Norway. And my dad was Ole, and he was 100% Norwegian, and he spoke fluent Norwegian. So he was visiting with, the staff on the boat, and my mom, all she wanted to do was, visit with them, and she would ask him, "Tell me how to say something, tell me how to say good morning," or something like that. Anyway, he gave her a line to deliver, but what she didn't know is he had taught her how to say, "Good morning, you fool." So
Good morning, you fool.
She was going around to everybody on the boat and saying, "Good morning, you fool." And, she was in her happy cheery self, and everybody was looking at her. Finally, my dad gave it up and said, "Okay, here's what you should really be saying." So we've laughed about that over the years too. Okay, I was gonna tell you about The Voice. Do you ever watch The Voice?
Yeah. I like the opening round where the blind auditions. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, is somebody going to get picked? Are they not going to get picked? Who's going to get picked? After that, I don't care.
Do you know what? I hate the game part of it.
Yeah.
I love to hear the music.
Yep.
Just let them sing. I hate all that junk in between, and there's too much of that, so I quit watching it. But anyway, they have enlisted Sheryl Crow and Leanne Rimes as mega mentors.
Oh, yeah.
For season 27. Season 27. Wow.
Well, they do like 2 seasons a year.
Yeah, but still, that's a lot. That's been running for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little Vegas chapel. They are offering Star Wars themed weddings.
Of course,
And
for May the
this year-
4th.
On May 4th, right.
Yep.
May the 4th be with you, right?
And then Revenge of the 5th.
Yeah, a date that fans, of course, know as Star Wars Day. There are 2 packages available, Yoda One for Me and Love Star. Both offer an officiant dressed as either Princess Leia or Darth Vader. Even the wedding certificate is Star Wars themed. A photo promoting the event shows a stormtrooper groom marrying his Princess Leia as Darth Vader threatens him. Fortunately, an Elvis impersonator is there to keep Darth Vader at bay. The Love Star package is available.
Thankfully, they've got an Elvis impersonator.
Of course. What would a Vegas wedding be without that? So the Star package, Love Star package, that is available. It's going to set you back $600. Yoda One for Me will set star-crossed lovers back $860. So, well, whole lot cheaper than any wedding I've ever known to be planned.
I hate to laugh. I think I've told the story many times where my aunt was up and we're looking at decorating the Eagles. That's where we're going to have the reception. And my aunt goes, "Dave, what kind of theme are we having?" And I'm like, first off, I didn't know we needed a theme. So that caught me by surprise. And then I said, "Our theme is we didn't go to Vegas." And Jen goes, "Wow, I thought your mom was going to punch you when she
Oh my
said
goodness.
that."
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, yeah, the whole themey thing. Blah. Yeah. But some people do come up with some really clever ideas for weddings.
Yeah, I just get me married. I just want to be married. That was it.
Okay. All right. 4 men. Wait till you hear this one. 4 men on horseback face charges after video footage of them allegedly riding emotional support horses in a Walmart. Of course, the video quickly went viral. The 40-second clip shows the young men and their animals strutting through a Louisiana location on Tuesday night as stunned shoppers watched. 3 of the offenders appear to be adults. 1 is a juvenile. They turned themselves into police after warrants were issued for their arrests, according to the Baker Police Department. "We didn't want anybody to get hurt. We always ride to Baker, and actually, how they said it was, we didn't want to hurt nobody." Oh boy, where's their English teacher? We always ride to Baker, and we just wanted to do it that day. That's my emotional support animal. One of the alleged offenders said they've been charged with disturbing the peace, among other charges. So, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, can't you just say, "All right, you knuckleheads, get the horses out of the store. Don't do this again," or,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, did they really need to be arrested?
Nah, I kind of like that on the record.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
That level of stupidity.
Well, it's stupidity, but
You got to hold people accountable. If you
I
don't hold
guess.
people accountable, stupidity will reign. We will be even dumber.
I guess. We used to ride our horses to school on the last day to pick up our report cards, but we never rode into the school. Somebody
Exactly.
stood outside with the horses, and the other one ran in to get the report cards. So, yeah.
I still remember when I was a little kid, and I know stealing a sign is wrong, which is why I never did it. But there was a sign going in from the library side into NP Park, or now Dr. Allen Magnuson Park, that said,
Okay.
"No horses in the park."
I do remember that being there.
I was like, I always wanted that, and I don't know where it ended up, but I love that sign.
No horses in the park.
No horses in the
All
park.
right. Well, and we talked yesterday briefly about the Minecraft movie.
Yep.
Well, Jack Black, of course, is in it. Everyone loves Jack Black. And he made a surprise appearance at a screening of the Minecraft movie. And everyone went crazier than they normally have. I mean, people are throwing popcorn. They're
Just being idiots.
Yeah, they're really being idiots. Anyway, and I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. But if you have or you know more about Minecraft than me, he said this: no throwing popcorn and absolutely no chicken jockeys.
Chicken jockeys, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's a little zombie that rides a chicken.
Okay, there we go. All right. Anyway, I've got a feel good to wrap things up. The free service, it's called Fido Alert. I've never heard of this. Anyway, it has 1.5 million pets registered. And they have reunited 40,000 lost animals to their
nice.
owners. Yeah. The service works as kind of an Amber Alert, but for pets, and utilizes a QR code and texting to notify members. So when a pet is lost, the owner can trigger an alert. I want to create a product as part of a social mission where we could make it free to every pet owner, founder John Bradford said. Every owner who registers receives a free pet tag with a QR code and a unique pet ID.
Nice.
I like that idea.
That's a good
And
service.
it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Okay, coming up on 10 o'clock, it is a Tuesday, and we wish you a good one. Get out there and enjoy some nicer weather today than yesterday. I went to a baseball game last night. Oh my goodness, awful.
we're streaming a doubleheader of softball games today.
Well, good luck with that.
It's going to be cold.
Yesterday was terrible. They had to stop the game a couple of times because of the wind. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, Jason Retzoff and I are going to be doing that game, and it's going to be, it's going to be
good
cold.
luck. Yeah, dress warm.
Yep.
Winter stuff. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Our show today and every day brought to us by Pioneer Care and by Fergus Falls Monument Company. Have a great Tuesday.
Keeping you company out on the lakes. The Minnesota Twins and News Talk 1250 AM KBRF. Depend on it.
Hey, it's Chris Atterbury. Join me alongside Glenn Perkins tonight as the Twins take on the Mets in Game 2 of a 3-game series. Bailey Ober starts for the Twins. Our pregame's at 6 o'clock. First pitch, 6:40, right here on your home for Twins baseball.